90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And hello again, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch here live on the Vine Radio and also streaming live on AreaSports.net. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. And Danny, well, it's not raining right now. The sun's wanting to peek out, but we're not quite where we need to be or ought to be for the 6th day of May, huh?
No, it's pretty chilly out there this morning once again, and but at least it's not pouring down on that rain like it was last weekend.
Yeah, those people who have been facing a lot of the floodwaters, that's been something to really deal with, and we're glad that looks like that's behind us, and the waters are starting to recede, and hopefully things will get back to some bit of normalcy here. And that's going to allow some more sports to be played. There was some baseball games played yesterday. We'll run down those scores in just a moment. They'll try to get some in today in the area as well. And a lot to talk about in terms of some national sports, too, particularly the St. Louis Cardinals and those St. Louis Blues. How about the Blues last night?
Blues, it was either win or go home, and they won, so they lived to play another day.
Exciting win last night in St. Louis for the Blues over the Nashville Predators 2-1. So now the series goes back to Nashville for Game 6 on Sunday, with Nashville leading that series 3-2. We're going to be visiting this morning with KMOX Sports Director Tom Ackerman, and the whole reason why we were wanting to visit with Tom was mainly to talk about the Cardinals, but I bet you we'll talk a lot about the Blues too.
Yeah, you know, Tom's become pretty involved with that Blues organization, and he does a lot of work for them, and he has to be excited that the Blues, I bet that place was rocking and rolling in there last night.
Oh, don't you know it. So we'll talk with Tom Ackerman from KMOX about both the Blues and the Cardinals coming up a little bit later on this morning in the show. We're also going to visit with Tim Holloway, the baseball coach of the Mount Vernon Rams, here in just a moment. Also, a new hiring down at Johnston City High School, Danny, and this is a very interesting hiring, and I think a good move for the Johnston City Indians and their basketball program, as they have brought on Coach Scott Burzynski, who spent many, many years with a successful tenure at Carterville. He's going to be the new head coach of the Indians, and we're going to talk to him this morning, and I think he's going to be very excited to talk about that.
You know, that's going to be a good move for the Johnston City Indians. Scott's a good guy. He does a nice job coaching basketball, and he should bring some great leadership to that Johnston City program.
I agree. We're also going to talk to basketball coach and track and field coach Phil Leib of the Flora Wolves. We've talked basketball with him many times throughout this sports season, but we're going to talk track and field with him this morning, see what's going on up at Flora.
I didn't realize he was a runner.
We'll find out. We'll ask him about that. See if he runs or if he just watches the other ones run. I don't know. But we'll find out. But if you want to tell us some of the scores from yesterday, we'll do that, and then we'll get our first coach on the line, okay?
All right. The Mount Vernon Rams picked up a big victory yesterday, 8-4 over Collinsville. Benton traveled to Sykeston, Missouri. They defeat Sykeston 10-3, and I heard Coach Blondie talking this morning that was the only place they could find dry enough to pick up a game yesterday. Charleston defeated Paris 8-3. Dietrich over Altamont 4-3. Effingham beat Flora 15-5. Goreville is champs of the Black Diamond West with an 8-1 victory over Chester. Greenville beat Hillsboro 4-3. Nashville beat Breeze Central 3-1. Jerseyville over Granite City 10-7. Pinckneyville beat Harrisburg 6-5. Trico 11, DuQuoin 7. Valmar 3, Triad 0. From Tuesday, Hamilton County defeated El Dorado 5-3, Nashville 9, Carbondale 2. Nashville Hornets pin a rare loss on the Benton Rangers 4-1. Wayne City defeated Christ Our Rock 16-1. Heron over Massac 11-3. And Newton beat Neoga 8-6. That's some scores from Tuesday.
All right, so again, there was games on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, not much in between because of all the rain, so you can go back and take a look at those scores if you'd like to on our sports website at AreaSports.net. And as Danny alluded to there through some of the scores, Mount Vernon Rams had a great week. They went 3-0 this week on the baseball diamond, and with us on the phone right now is head coach Tim Holloway. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good to have you on the Sports Couch again. And, great week for Rams baseball, going 3-0.
Yeah, it has been. You know, our guys have been playing well, and I think somebody told me they won maybe 13 out of 14 or 14 out of 15. So they've been getting some good results. They're executing, and we're getting real good pitching and some timely hitting, and they're playing hard with a lot of energy. So it's been a real fun ride right now, and real proud of our team.
What's the overall record for the Rams now?
I believe we're 18-6, and we were maybe 4-5 opening up. So we've definitely gotten a lot of improvement out of our team, and we've been on a bit of a roll.
Yeah, well, you won yesterday over Collinsville 8-4, and then earlier in the week on Tuesday you got a win over Carbondale 9-2, a big conference win, and also then you beat Murfreesboro on Monday 15-5. So 3 wins for the Rams this week. Let's talk about them briefly. Each one, where you want to start?
Well, we'll go with the Murfreesboro game. We got good pitching from Brockhouse, from Walker, but the key to that game was we swung the bat really well. I think we had 18 hits. It was one of those crazy days at Brennan Klein Field where the wind was blowing out over 20 mile an hour, and had a couple home runs. And Gage Burrows, who's played really well for us this year, hit for the cycle, and just had a real good day at the plate along with some good pitching. Colin Smith came in and did a nice job in relief for us. So with Murphy in our subsectional, that was a good win for us. And then, we went to Carbondale on the road, and traditionally, I mean, you never know. Sometimes it's hard to score runs there, and the way the field's set up and with the wind, and our guys did a pretty good job of getting on. We won 9-2, but we felt like we left a lot of runners on, and that's something we hadn't been doing lately. But again, we got good pitching from Quinn Kuava, and Weston Brockhouse came in and threw well. So, and then last night playing at GCS, a pretty neat experience over there for our guys. We got off to a little bit of a rough start. We kicked it around a bit in the first and gave them a couple runs, and answered right back after that and got on track, and then really had some good hits, some timely hits, hard hit balls with runners in scoring position. And our sophomore Weston Brockhouse do well once again, and Walker, his older brother, came in and shut the door, and it was a nice win for our guys.
Yeah, you had a great experience yesterday playing at that GCS ballpark, that minor league park over there at Sauget, and then, of course, a couple of weeks ago you got to play at Busch Stadium as well, so a couple of great experiences for your Rams players. Talk about the experience there at Busch Stadium.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was a great day. Weather was perfect, and when you get down on that field, the grass is unbelievable. It's really neat for our guys to have that experience, and we always dress everyone, so they all at least got to get out there and play a little catch and get a feel for what it's like. Of course, it'll be a little different when that place packed, but it's still a very neat experience, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of help to do these types of things. I always tell our guys that you need to appreciate things because, not everybody gets to play at Busch Stadium, gets to play at minor league parks and, play in a nice home park like we do and go places and, but that takes a lot of help from everyone to do. So I think they appreciate it. It's something that is a motivator for them. They're spread out through the season, and it's always something to look forward to.
Yeah, everybody talks about how soft the grass is out there. Talk about that.
That grass is cut. I believe they told us they cut it every other day, and I mean it's extremely low cut, but it's a real fine grass, but it plays really fast. So, you can imagine the ball coming off a major leaguer's bat as a third baseman and how quick that gets on you. It's unbelievable how low it is and how fast and how perfect it is.
That's really neat. And, of course, the team has been selling tickets for Mount Vernon Day at the ballpark to get discount tickets for a Cardinal game against the Pirates, and that's coming up in June, right?
June 24th, 6:15 game. We still have quite a few to sell, and our guys are really trying to make a push. Our players are trying to push. The last 3.5 weeks here, we need to have those sold within, I think, 2 weeks before that date. So, I mean, we can use any help. If anybody's interested in buying tickets, we'd appreciate it, or even making a donation. But we have to cut the Cardinals a check, and we don't have a lot of time left, so we're really going to try to push hard here.
And what's the best way to get a hold of you or someone there in the athletic department to purchase tickets?
the best way is to call Emily Timmons in the athletic office, who's our athletic secretary, or they can stop by the athletic office, and she has tickets on hand, or they can get them from our players as well as Schmidt Chevrolet. There's some tickets at Schmidt Chevrolet, and they're helping us out. So, and of course, anyone can email me or give me a call. I'd be glad to help. But, it's a rare opportunity for our guys, and we can't do it without the help, and it's something we hope to keep going.
Right, absolutely. What's next on the schedule for the Mount Vernon Rams, Tim?
Well, right now we got youth JCSA baseball on our mind. We're getting ready to go here for opening day. So our guys got a day off today, and a lot of them will be umpiring out here. It's a big day for the kids. And then we go to Benton on Monday, and I believe we have who we got Tuesday. I'm kind of day-to-day right now, but Monday's Benton. Tuesday would be Centralia at Centralia, and then we have Massac, who's got a good one that's going to SIU, upper 80s kid, and then we're going to go to Mater Dei on Friday.
Okay. And a chance to see some future Mount Vernon Ram baseball players today as that JCSA program kicks off today.
Yeah, it's a very special day for the kids. They're excited. All fields are going to be ready. It's going to be a perfect day out here right now. I mean, it couldn't get much better. So if anybody wants to come watch the kids, there'll be a lot of excitement out here, and really appreciate all of our parent volunteers and our baseball committee and baseball director Mike Schubert and everyone that helps out. We have a lot of good parents coaching the kids and giving their time, and it's a really neat deal. And a lot of our best teams have come through, have grown up playing together out here.
That's great. Well, Tim, thanks so much for your time. We'll let you go so you can get ready there for the JCSA kickoff today. But good week of baseball for the Rams, and keep it going, okay?
Okay, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, you bet. Bye-bye. It's Tim Holloway, head baseball coach for the Mount Vernon Rams, and they're kicking off that JCSA season this morning. That's the Little League season, Danny, and that's where it all begins, really, with that Mount Vernon Ram baseball program. I mean, he's built such an incredible program there in Mount Vernon, year after year after year of winning seasons, and it all starts there with the youth.
Oh, yeah. They got that good youth program, and they got a lot of age divisions, and a lot of kids get an opportunity, and they get a lot of experience. But they've also got a lot of good people involved in that program helping run and oversee that program, and that's what it takes for communities to have successful programs. And then Mount Vernon's got that great ball facility. Mm-hmm. I heard a coach talking this morning on another sports show about they had their seeding meetings this week, and it was very difficult, it seems. They had some teams that had played 25 games, and they had some teams that had only played 14 games.
Wow.
And they were trying to seed them based upon how their teams had performed. He said it was probably one of the most difficult seeding, but he said it was all about having a facility to be able to play on, and Mount Vernon has a great one.
Well, that's true, and that helps when you got a place like Brennan Klein Field. They often want to play regionals and sectionals there just because it's such a high-quality field and it drains well. And of course, again, Dr. Klein, the orthodontist that funded that several years ago, and they've keep adding on to that and doing things to the facilities. They have new concession restrooms there now. Of course, they got great dugouts. They got seating facilities. You got some overhang there to where you can stay out of the weather if it's inclement or whatever, places for people to sit. So it's just a first-class facility for a high school baseball, and it's used by some others as well.
Yeah, and that's the great thing when the community is able to pull together and do things like that, and that's what it takes, and Mount Vernon's very fortunate.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we were hoping to connect with Marty Slover this morning, softball coach for the Bobcats at Frontier Community College. Haven't heard back yet from Marty, so I don't know if we'll have him on or not. Coming up at around 9 o'clock, we're going to have Tom Ackerman, sports director at KMOX Radio, on the show with us, and we'll talk about the Blues and the Cardinals with him. Also, in our next hour, we'll have Scott Burzynski on with us. He's going to be the new head basketball coach for basketball at Johnston City. He'll lead the Indians after a tremendous career at Carterville, where he had many, many winning seasons there.
Yeah, Scott has got a good challenge there in front of him with Johnston City. Things been a little bit down. Dan Mings is kind of had very, very much success with the football program, and now they're going to try to carry that over into the basketball. And you got to have a good leader. They've had a lot of changing of the guards down there in the last few years. Nobody seemed to want to step up and take that job, and under difficult times, they haven't been able to maybe have a teaching position or anything to go with that. Mm-hmm. So, it's some things have changed and opened up, and they were able to get Scott in there and get him on board and add not only to the coaching staff but to the teaching staff down there. He's
absolutely.
He'll be a great asset to that community.
I agree. We'll also talk with Phil Leib of the Flora Wolves later on in the next hour, and he's, of course, coaches basketball and track and field at Flora, so we'll talk to him about that. Just got a message back from Marty Slover, and yes, he is ready to talk to us here in just a few moments, a little bit about Bobcat softball, so we'll do that when we come back. Right after this message from some of our underwriting sponsors. It's the Sports Couch.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
When it comes to custom cabinets and furniture, Barbary Woodworks in Fairfield is the name you need to know. They feature American-made cabinets with American-made products. And for your kitchen and bath, they also feature DuPont, Corian, Zodiac, and Granite. Barbary Woodworks in Fairfield also feature hardwood flooring, trim doors, and windows. And they have a showroom where you can see it all at 307 Highland Avenue in Fairfield. If you have questions, their phone number is 842-4014. Thanks to Barbary Woodworks in Fairfield for their ongoing support of local Christian radio.
Carmine Manor Rehabilitation and Nursing Center offers a full range of rehabilitation and long-term services. They are a 74-bed facility, and choosing the right rehabilitation and nursing center for yourself or a loved one is an important step in the care and recovery from an illness or injury. They have a team of professionals with your well-being at the center of everything they do. Whether you're looking for a short-term rehabilitation stay or long-term care, they offer a full line of nursing and rehabilitative services in a small, home-like setting. Carmine Manor, 615 West Webb Street, Carmine, Illinois. Their phone number is 618-382-7270, and their website, carminemanor.com.
Many Americans over age 40 are on medications, and it's important to know how those medications interact with each other. Shoe Creek Pharmacy is your good neighbor pharmacy in downtown Wayne City, and they are very happy to consult with you about your medications at any time. They also offer prescriptions at competitive prices, and most insurance is accepted. You have a friend in the pharmacy business. Shoe Creek Pharmacy, your good neighbor pharmacy in downtown Wayne City. And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. We have live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. And let's check in now with the head softball coach of the Frontier Bobcats. That's Marty Slover. He joins us right now. Good morning, Marty. How you doing today?
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Great. Good to have you on the show. And Bobcat season is starting to wind down, and you've been pretty busy despite the rain, huh?
Well, yeah, we've been really busy. Actually, we finished our season last Monday. We finished this and played in a pre-24 tournament up at Lakeland, and I went up there and lost a couple of games, but we made the postseason for the second year in a row, which was an accomplishment for us, a goal that we set every year, and we're just really happy to be able to advance and play at that level at that time of the year.
So that was the end of the line. That was the final elimination when you lost up there, those two.
Yeah, we went up there and played Lakeland. I think they finished second in the region behind Wabash Valley. So we went up there. I think we finished seventh in the region. So 1-8, played 2-7, and we were just like that, just happy to be there and to be able to play at that level.
Well, with a program that's so young, Danny, isn't it great that they advanced to postseason twice, 2 years in a row?
Well, that says a lot about the talent and the young ladies and the work that they're putting in there at Frontier Community College. And, to be competitive early on, that says a lot for the program there and should help Marty being able to get him some more recruits in there to push that program farther.
And recruiting never stops, does it?
No, it does. In fact, that's what I'm doing today. We're just about done. We've got about 3 or 4 other roster spots that we're looking to fill. We've looked at some kids and probably going to make some offers to them, and I'm pretty confident that we'll bring those kids in. It's funny you should mention it. Listen, I'm gonna give you a kid's name that'll be faced Monday. Her name is Emily Eyestrike. I got a real good feeling she's probably going to be pitching for Mississippi State here in a couple of years. At Lakeland Monday we were there, and Mississippi State was there watching her, so they're pretty interested. She's good.
Wow. Well, like Danny said, though, success breeds success. The fact that you've been able to have some success with these girls so early on and get to postseason twice is going to help with your recruiting process.
Yeah, we have. We've been really fortunate. We've got some really, really good kids. Not just great athletes, but they're good students and good kids, and they're very goal orientated, and they just done a fantastic job for us this year. We've recruited some really, really fine young ladies.
Well, I know you can't tell us right now who you're talking to as far as recruiting, but can you tell us where you're at?
Well, I can tell you, we got a verbal from a young lady from Corpus Christi, Texas, who I believe she signed with us last week. We are recruiting out of Kentucky right now, a young lady that we're pretty interested in. She's visiting next week, and I got a good feeling about her. And then we got a couple of local kids here that we're talking to that I feel pretty comfortable with also.
Wow, Corpus Christi, Texas, that's a long way away.
Yeah, she actually we kind of got some video on her, and she was looking to fill a spot in our roster. We need a little more power. We're not going to have the thunder in our lineup next year that we had the past 2 years. We're going to be a little more athletic, but we're also going to be a lot faster. And our game is probably going to change a little bit due to that, but you kind of adjust with what your recruiting class is. We need a little power to just get a little bit of power, so we're going to have her. We're lucky enough to get her.
Well, I was going to say, if you was looking for someplace to go today, down at Benton, the Benton Rangerettes are having that softball classic, and I think there's a whole bunch of teams down there playing today. I know the Hamilton County Lady Foxes have got 3 games down there today, and I heard them talking earlier that they're playing. Started at 8:30 this morning, and they're playing like on 3 fields down there. So there'll be a bunch of ladies down there playing a little softball this morning.
Yeah, I've talked to some people down there. I may have a set of eyes down there for us watching. I'm actually here in Fairfield. There's 6 teams here today playing in a tournament, so I'm going to catch them playing a little bit. A couple of kids here that we're looking at also. So the rain's got everything kind of backed up. Everybody's trying to play right now, which is good and bad.
Well, yeah, you take like the Hamilton County Lady Foxes, they're playing at 10:30, 12:30, and then their third game, depending on what they'll do, will be at 2:30 or 4:30. And the problem with that is pitching. You just don't have enough pitching to compete at high levels when you start playing that many games that close together.
No, and that kind of bit us a little bit this year. We had a lot of rainouts. At one point in time, we had I think 8 games in 10 days. So we were just stacking everything up, and everybody was in the same spot. And you're trying to play the games to get a good seed. And we kind of, like I said, everybody got backed up on games, and it all boiled down to pitching. Who had the pitching and who didn't? And I think if you look at some of the scores of some of the games in the region, you would have seen some pretty inflated scores. I know we went down to Red Lake and we ended up winning that ball game 22-20. It's because their pitchers are just so tired. They've been so many innings, they're not sharp, and the hitters are locking in right now. They locked in, they were hitting. And it was just one of those deals where you just going to try to plug it out. You look at scores all throughout the region, you're going to see that, especially at the college level, the scores were inflated a little bit for the end of the season. The pitchers were tired.
You want to talk about inflated scores, go and look at high school boys baseball with this new pitch count they've put in, especially 1A and 2A teams that are kind of short on athletes anyway, and it's more like football scores than it is baseball scores.
Oh, I mean, I understand where they're coming from. I do. But, Nolan Ryan, who I really admire as a person and a pitcher. He said kids, they don't throw like they used to. If they go out and they try to throw maybe a lot of innings and pitches in one setting, he said, you've got to train that arm. You've got to build that strength up and condition and train, get your arm more steady. The arm's like a battery, so you train that arm to throw those pitches. So, yeah, I don't know where it's going to go. I know if I were a Major League scout, I would hate it if I was going to watch somebody because I never know if he's going to throw or not.
Yeah, but once again, the weather has been a major factor in a lot of the problems created this spring. But unfortunately, Mother Nature's not been real happy.
No, I tell you what, Sam Finn is a catcher, first baseman for us from West Frankfort. Their field is completely underwater.
Oh, yeah. The West Frankfort ball field, heck, it was over the fence, around the backstop, and everywhere else. It's played. Mother Nature she's been in a bad mood. I don't know who upset her, but I wish they'd try to make amends with her.
She's happy today, though.
Yeah, let's hope we get plenty of sunshine today and warm things up and start to dry it off a little bit. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, Marty, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and congratulations on another successful season there with your Bobcats, and good luck out there on the recruiting trail, okay?
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
All right, you too. All righty, bye-bye. Marty Slover, head softball coach there at Frontier Community College. Man, he is the right guy for that job, isn't he? He's done a good job.
Oh, yeah. He's really stepped into that program, and that's been a good hire for Frontier.
Yeah,
College.
And they're going to have perhaps a girl coming from Corpus Christi, Texas, it sounds like. And
yeah.
Well, so very interesting. Hey, stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to visit with Tom Ackerman, sports director of KMOX Radio in St. Louis. They're, of course, the flagship station for the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll talk to him about the Cardinals and the Blues coming up next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Underwriting on the Vine is made possible by Fairfield Printing and Graphics. They specialize in screen printing of t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies with your favorite team name and colors. They also do printing of envelopes, stationery, posters, and business cards, and they also make outdoor banners in a variety of sizes and colors. Fairfield Printing and Graphics is located at number 5 Williamson Drive in Fairfield. Their phone number is 842-4048.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Bluefoot Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support. And welcome back to the Sports Couch, here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites, live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Going to talk Blues hockey and St. Louis Cardinals baseball right now with the sports director of KMOX Radio in St. Louis. They, of course, are the flagship station for the St. Louis Cardinals. Joining us is sports director Tom Ackerman. Good morning, Tom. Welcome to the Sports Couch.
Randy, how you doing, buddy?
Great. Good to have you. Good to have you on the show.
Good to be on with you.
Absolutely. And I know you worked that game last night at St. Louis between the Blues and the Predators. Playoff hockey. Wow. What a win last night for the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that, really. Playoff hockey is pretty intense, and
I thought the crowd was actually pretty quiet at the beginning. After the national anthem, it's always an awesome moment. But then they really dropped into this sort of, and I've seen this before in different venues around the country. A couple years ago, I went to Game 7 of the Rangers and Lightning in Madison Square Garden, and Ben Bishop, the St. Louisan, shut out the Rangers 1-0 to win that game. And it was a quiet, nervous crowd in New York, and it kind of felt like the same thing last night for about a period, in that, they were just sort of like waiting for something to happen and worried about how the Blues were playing going into the game. But, the Blues found a way. They kind of botched a power play opportunity at 5-on-3, but then they were able to get a lead for the first time in this series. They scored the first goal, and that really, I thought, energized the crowd and got them going. And even when the Blues weren't able to capitalize on another power play, they were able to shake it off. And then they found a way, after Nashville tied the game on their own power play, get a goal from Jaden Schwartz after putting the puck on net early in the third period, and that kind of made the difference for them. And then they stayed aggressive and just closed the game out, and it was pretty wild in there. So the Blues have now put the pressure back on Nashville, because even though the Predators are up 3-2 in the series, they have to win Game 6 at home to make sure that this series doesn't get back to St. Louis for a Game 7, because I believe that if it does, the Blues will win the series in 7.
Well, the Blues were playing last night without Alexander Steen, but other guys stepped up last night, and you're right, going back to Nashville now, but Nashville is tough at home, aren't they?
No, they're very good at home, and that place is, insanely loud, and their crowd is very excited about having this team. Nashville's a good hockey town. I mean, they've had the team now for just about 20 years, and, it's been a nice climb for the city in general. They seem to be gaining population by the day, and people are very excited about the hockey team. They're the city's team. They're the pro team in town, and aside from the Titans, of course. But right now, they're the team that's going, and they're very excited about them. So it'll be a tough place to win. That said, I think the Blues have found their formula, and that is to stay aggressive. You cannot let the Predators dictate the game, especially at home. And with the Predators' defensemen being as fast as they are and as offensive-minded as they are, they're like extra forwards. And when the Preds are on the rush, they become very dangerous, and that crowd gets all riled up. If you can get them on their heels and start putting pucks on Pekka Rinne and try to get a bounce, a rebound, a goal, and get some momentum your way, I think the Blues can win that game. It'll be very difficult, but I think they've found their formula, Randy, and that is to be aggressive. And they said it again last night, that as long as they're aggressive, that should be their mindset, and they're successful. And, they don't have, outside of Vladimir Tarasenko, they don't really have a lot of speedy playmakers right now on this team, but they have a lot of players who are gutty and can get dirty and can get, garbage goals, as we call them, those rebounds, those tough goals. They have a lot of players that can do that, forwards and defensemen. So looking forward to seeing what they can do in that respect. And then, of course, they have the goaltending to back it up.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was about to say. Jake Allen, what a job he did last night in the net.
Yeah, he was great. He was locked in, and that's, going to be of the utmost importance right now. He stopped 21 shots, but they were in key moments, and he's got a ton of talent, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
All right, well, let's turn the page here and talk a little bit about the Cardinals. Danny's here in studio with me as well, and I want to talk to you here about the Cardinals. And we both have been a little bit disappointed in recent weeks on Colton Wong, but boy, he's making a liar out of us now, because he's really starting to turn things around, and maybe he is starting to put it together. What's your thoughts?
Well, I kind of thought that after the Tuesday game, in which he, or was it the Monday game? Monday or Tuesday, all sort of run together now, where he made all those mistakes.
Right.
And then he bounced back the next day, and Mike Matheny went up to him and said, "You're in the lineup." And this was the day after a night in which Wong talked to the media and was very open about how he messed up the game. He said he told the players that he was to blame. He said that I panicked when the line drive went to him and he wasn't able to corral it, and then made the bad throw, and he put it on himself. Then he came out and he had a great game. And Mike Matheny thought that was really a sign of maturity for him, and that's really what it's about. We know that Colton Wong has talent. I mean, anybody that's watched him knows that when he's on the field, if something exciting happens in the infield, it's usually because of him. And he has good talent at the plate, too, and we saw him yesterday single and score on the Matt Carpenter homer. And, he continues to contribute, and now he had that opportunity at the leadoff spot. I don't think that's going to last very long once Dexter Fowler comes back, but at least he had the chance. And, the guy's hitting 296. So, confidence boost for him for sure. And, gosh, if you could get Colton Wong going, and he's among the, surprisingly, he's among the top on this team in RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has as many RBIs as Randall Grichuk. He's number 2 on the team right now with 12 RBIs. So, if you can get him going offensively, wow, what a difference this is.
Well, Tom, I always thought it was kind of an issue between the ears for Colton Wong, and maybe fessing up and just admitting, maybe I'm not sure in the past he hadn't really taken the blame, and I don't know if the blame is the correct word, but maybe he just didn't shoulder the responsibility for some of his actions on the field. And I think he finally did that the other night. It took a lot of nerve to stand up in front of the national media and say what he said, and also, but to go to his teammates and say, guys, hey, this was me. I messed up. And then to come out and correct it, maybe he's kind of got things figured out.
Well, here's the other thing, too, and that's absolutely correct. The other thing is, that Colton, I think, let stuff stay with him for way too long. I mean, he would make a mistake at the plate and, pop out with bases loaded or strike out in a key moment. And then he'd go out there and carry it with him to the field, and he'd make an error. And so, we've watched him do that over and over. Something that I noted, Colton this year has 5 errors. So that was starting to catch up with him again this year. It's something that I noted last year before the season when he signed his contract and had his press conference for his new 5-year deal. He talked about getting picked off in that World Series game with Carlos Beltran at the plate. Like, Colton, that was in 2013. Like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Move on. I mean,
Yeah.
forget about it. And so, I think that stuff stayed with him for too long. And I think you start to grow out of that when you mature as a man. Sometimes we forget that these are young guys in their early 20s, and now he's starting to mature a little bit as a big league player. And you start to understand you're going to have highs and lows. And you've got to be, I just wish he could be as cool as somebody like a Matt Carpenter or as cool as a Jed Jerko. They just go out there and they try to make things happen, and if it doesn't happen, they'll get another at-bat. And so when you start to get that mindset, I think that's huge. Here's the other thing, is that they're playing him a lot. And I think this is on the Cardinals, too. Last year, when he started to have issues, they pulled him from the lineup. Not only did Mike Matheny and John Mozeliak pull him from the lineup, but at one point he's starting in center field in Memphis. I mean, if I'm Colton Wong last year, I'm like, what happened to me? I was once the starting second baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals. I hit a walk-off home run in the NLCS in 2014. Now I'm starting in center field for the Memphis Redbirds. So it was a wake-up call, but it was also, I thought, a shot to his confidence. He's got to get out there and play every day. And Mike Matheny turning around and looking him in the eye and saying, you're in the lineup, get out there, after he messed up that game the other night, I thought was a big deal. And so that's important. I think Colton Wong needs to play.
Well, yeah, he's one of these guys, but also you can kind of see the Cardinals' point. You still got to win. You got to produce. You can't continue to run guys out there that can't get the job done night in and night out, because the goal is still to win the division or at least get to the playoffs, So, you still got to perform.
And Colton is an emotional guy, and we saw it in spring training. My friend Ben Fredrickson, the columnist for the Post-Dispatch, had him off in the corner of the clubhouse, and that was when Colton made those comments about, they're going to platoon me? Well, then they might as well just go trade me. And I think it was a couple hours later that Colton came to his senses and realized that, he kind of blew his top a little bit, and he clarified his comments and said, of course, I don't want to be traded. I want to be a Cardinal. I'll do whatever they ask me to do. But this is what he is. That's how he's wired. He's an emotional guy, wears his heart on his sleeve, and sometimes he says and does things that I think he needs to step back sometimes and just, again, take a more mature approach to the game and understand that things don't go your way. You don't have to spout off about it. Just do your job and produce. You want to play, you need to hit and field the ball successfully.
Well, the last couple of days, the numbers have played out, and he's looking much, much better. And like you say, he's leading the team or near leading the team in several categories, so that's a positive sign. Let's move on here. Piscotty, what do you think about the injury that has happened to him, and how serious is that?
Well, Stephen didn't think it was a big deal after it happened, but it is a hamstring, and anybody who's ever pulled their hamstring knows that it hurts worse the next day. And so they get up the next day and they find that it's a strain of the hamstring, and so he's placed on the disabled list. I think that it's probably more than the 10 days on the DL to get back to 100% because the hamstring can linger. We all know that. So I think that's important. Dexter Fowler's injury is not very serious. He had that shoulder strain, and an MRI showed that there was no structural damage to him, so that's really good news. So hopefully Dexter can get back in there, and he was actually available to hit yesterday, so he stays on the active roster. Stevens on the DL. Meanwhile, the Cardinals call up Tommy Pham, and he goes crazy. I mean, Pham with the home run and the double and looking good, so great start for him. I know he was disappointed to be sent down at the end of the year, but the end of spring training, but you couldn't deny what Jose Martinez was doing, and Jose so far has been able to show that he can be effective. I know he's been mostly off the bench, but that he can be effective, and last night he was 2 for 6 with a couple of runs scored. So the Cardinals have some options out there while Steven is out. Once he does come back, I think that it'll be a welcome addition, of course, and he continues to work on his swing. That's been a bit of an issue for him.
All right, probably one of the biggest concerns, it may be the biggest hurdle for the Cardinals, looks like to me this season, Adam Wainwright. How long can the Cardinals keep running him out there with the struggles he's having, or does he maybe become a bullpen option?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain on this because I know a lot of people are getting itchy to take him out of the rotation, but I believe you have to keep him in there. And my reason is Adam is still, to me, showing life on his fastball. I think he has good stuff. I think his stuff is moving. He just has not been able to locate it, and his command is not there like it normally has been. But I don't know that he's that far off, to be honest with you. I watched him that last game, and I know he gave up the home run to Broxton, and I know that he's not the Adam Wainwright of old, but this is the Adam Wainwright, second half of his career, last part of his career, and so he's got to be able to change the way that he pitches, and I think we're watching that transformation. And to be able to do that, I think he needs a couple more starts to determine whether he's able to do that. And then beyond that, you can make a decision. But I do know he still needs to get a few more starts to get it right. And I really don't think that he's that far off. I feel like I've watched him enough in his career that I know that he's not the same, but I also know that I see several pitches that he's throwing. He's just not throwing them all for strikes, and he's at times falling behind in the count. If he can get ahead, throw that first pitch strike, that's where he's certainly effective. And I've seen him work on that. I know that he's confident that he can turn those things around. I'm not ready to yank him yet. And the other reason is I don't see a replacement for him in the rotation. I mean, if you take him out of the rotation, who do you have that you can just throw right in there? Tyler Lyons is on the DL. I know the Cardinals have some very attractive options right now in the minor leagues that they're starting to climb, but they're not ready to take on the full-time role of a big league starter, maybe a spot start here and there. But I don't see anybody that can come in and be your fifth starter and just jump right in and take command of it. That said, maybe down the road as we get closer to the trade deadline and some of these teams start to drop out of the race, there could be some very attractive starters that could be had, and maybe you make a decision then. But right now, I think you got to keep Adam in there. And by the way, the Cardinals have a lot of money. They have a lot of money, and if they need to make a deal mid-season, I think they could pull it off. This season is far from over. I think this Cardinals roster will look different late in the year granted that they're in the race come trade deadline time, which I think they will be.
Well, speaking of the race, nobody seems to be running away with the division so far, Tom. I mean, the Cardinals are still hanging right there with the Cubs and well within reach, and so it's one of those divisions that I think a lot of teams are going to be in it for quite a while, including the Milwaukee Brewers. They're better than what people think.
Brewers are pretty good. They struggle at home, and I think partly is that's a home run park, and everybody just seems to hit bombs there. But I like the Brewers team. They're good. I think this Reds team will start to fade a little bit. They're maybe playing a little bit better. You know, I remember, I think it was Whitey Herzog who said this a long time ago, that, you know, early in the season, some of these teams, you know, I think just in April and May in general, some of these teams like the Reds can play a little bit above, you know, where they were projected because, you know, they don't know any better. I mean, they're young guys that I think they're getting out there and getting after it. I think over the course of a season, I think you can watch some of these teams sort of come back to earth, and I think that the Reds will be one of those. I know they hit the ball and they have a nice-looking bullpen, but just for the long haul, 162-game season, I don't know that they're built for that. Pittsburgh, it surprises me a little bit that they're bringing up the rear right now in the division, but I think they'll be a little bit better. I think the Cardinals will be better than their 500 record. The one team I'm certain will be better is the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs are only 3 games over 500. I don't think there's any doubt that they're a threat to win 95 to 100 games. So they're going to find a way to pull away from the pack, and it's up to the Cardinals to be able to kickstart this thing and keep pace with them, because it won't be long before the Cubs start to go on a tear. The division, though, while maybe you can't win it, I think you can stay close enough to the Cubs and let them be the pace setter to be a wild card team. I think it'd be asking a lot for the Cardinals to win the NL Central. But you look around the East, I mean, the Nationals are just running away with this division right now. The Mets have all kinds of injury problems, and the rest of the East is falling out. In the West, Colorado, it's not a surprise to me. I thought they would get off to a good start. They're starting to come back to earth a little bit. Arizona maybe playing a lot better than we all thought. The Dodgers should be there. The Giants, a surprise that they're at the bottom. But, gosh, you look at it, guys. I mean, if you're looking at potential wild card threats to the Cardinals, okay, let's say that the Cardinals are a wild card team. The Giants have really fallen out, and losing Madison Bumgarner hurts them. The Mets are dealing with all kinds of injury issues. We already talked about Pittsburgh, and they lost Starling Marte for 80 games, and he can't play in the postseason, even if he does come back. So the Cardinals have a real opportunity here to snag one of these wild card spots or even threaten the Cubs in the division. They've just got to be able to field the ball better and run the bases better. The offense should be there, and as long as they have the starting rotation intact, they'll be there.
Well, I agree with that assessment, and the whole key is just to get in the playoffs, because once you're there, anything can happen. That's for sure.
That's it. Just get in. I mean, we saw that in 06 and 11 when the Cardinals stumbled in both regular seasons, but found a way to get into the playoffs. And we all know they flew a couple of banners out in right field. So they have, they know that, and I still think that this team has a chance to be special. I think there's a real opportunity in the middle of the season to add a very attractive piece or two and make this team capable of making a deep run and challenging the Cubs.
I think that's what it's going to take, Tom, don't you? I think there's going to have to be a couple of key additions come along here, you know, like you said, toward the middle of the season. If the Cardinal brass can pull that off, and they should be able to. They've got some pieces, and they've got the money. The money's no object there. One thing I am noticing is the fans. The ticket sales are still there, but the attendance, maybe it's weather-related, but it's not jam-packed. I've seen more empty seats in Cardinal Nation this year than I've seen in many, many years.
Definitely impacted by weather and definitely impacted by flooding. So what happened this week with all the flooding in the area, you have a lot of people that are dealing with that. That hurts. April historically is a tough month attendance-wise because you have kids in school and you have, I'd estimate on the weekends, 40 to 45, maybe even 50% of the crowd is from out of town. This is a vacation destination for a lot of people and a lot of Cardinals fans. And right now we are not in vacation season. We're still in the school session. We're not in summer vacation. So that has always, I think, hurt attendance early. But then you compound that with we've had, 4 rainouts already here in St. Louis?
Yeah, more rainouts
Yeah.
than
Usual,
I forgot
yeah.
how long.
Mm-hmm, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Thursday's game gets pushed back from 12:45 to 6:15. It was cold. It was wet. It was, a quarter of the town is dealing with flooding. I think that is definitely a factor. The Cardinals play on the field, right? They're a 500 team. They're not in first place, so that can always affect it. But I think that when you look at this thing in May, June, July, once we start getting into the warmer months, you'll see those crowds start to swell again, and everything will be fine, and they'll still sell over 3 million tickets. In fact, they're probably almost there in terms of sales. They sell a ton of tickets. They have great promotions. But it'll be fun. I mean, we're going to see some good competition coming in here. Next weekend, the Cubs are here. Then the Red Sox are here. So you'll see some good crowds for sure.
Mm-hmm. Has Jerko took over the third base position?
Yeah, I think he's there. Now, Johnny Peralta did his first rehab assignment for Palm Beach. He did that yesterday, and he batted third for the Palm Beach Cardinals. I didn't see his numbers, but I know he was third in the order, and I know that the Cardinals were expecting him to be with the team perhaps early next week. So he's getting his rehab ABs. But right now, how do you take Jed Jerko out of the lineup? He's leading the team in hitting. He's leading the team in home runs. He has 6 home runs and he's batting .346. And like I said, he's got that cool attitude about him. He just gets up there and looks to barrel it and tries to make something happen. And he's a pretty good fielder, too.
I started to say he's done a nice job for the Cardinals in the field.
Yeah. He's my starting third baseman.
Yeah, he is. We're visiting with KMOX Sports Director Tom Ackerman. Tom, just a couple more questions before we let you go. Matt Adams, you feel like that he's at peace with his role coming off the bench and being an occasional spot starter and pinch hitter and things like that at the first base position? Hello? Are you there?
Man, we must have lost him. Hello? We're visiting with Tom Ackerman of KMOX Sports. We had contact with him. We must have lost him here this morning. We've been talking Cardinal baseball, Blues hockey. Been nice visiting with Tom here this morning.
I think we lost him there. He was on a cell phone, and I think he was in the tunnel there at the arena where the Blues play. It sounded to me like.
Yeah.
And so I think we just lost signal there with him. But appreciate Tom joining us this morning and giving us some great insight on both the Blues and the Cardinals. He was talking about Johnny Peralta doing his rehab assignment down at Palm Beach, and so it looks like that Peralta is on his way back. Now, whether or not he'll be able to, actively really contribute to the Cardinals still remains to be seen. And like he just said, how do you take Jerko out of the lineup with the way he's playing?
Well, I think if Peralta gets back, I think he's going to assume that role as the utility infielder, looks to me like, because Jerko is definitely situated himself at third base right now. We were just starting to talk about the fielding play, but you know what? He's done a nice job there for the Cardinals and not committing errors, and he's just pretty steady.
Yeah, he really has been. But, it's been an interesting year for the Cardinals so far, and I agree with Tom's assessment there about the fact that the Cardinals are in a good position that if they don't challenge for the division crown with the Cubs, because, arguably on paper the Cubs have the better team, the way that the rest of the league is situated right now, with the Pirates going through their issues, the Mets going through their issues, and what have you, the Cardinals have a great opportunity here to hopefully at least stay close enough to the Cubs that they can be in position for that playoff spot with the wild card. And again, the goal is just to get in the playoffs, because once you get in, absolutely anything can happen.
Well, yeah, but I don't think as a Cardinal you also want to sit there and say, well, we want to just try it. I think, the goal still has to be the Chicago Cubs are not unbeatable. Mm-hmm. They're playing just 1 or 2 games above 500 themselves. Their pitching is not as strong as it was last year. Their hitting's always going to be there. But I'll tell you one thing. If the Chicago Cubs decide that they need to upgrade their pitching arms, they will not be like the St. Louis Cardinals. I guarantee you, if the Cubs wake up tomorrow morning and decide they need a pitcher, they'll have one before dark. And the Cardinals will be sitting there saying, well, we've got these 3 minor leaguers. Let's bring them up and let's try them for a half a dozen games. And then we'll go get some guy that is 9 and 14, and we're going to bring him in there, and we're going to mysteriously work our magic with him. Dave Duncan's not there anymore.
That's true. He's not.
So, sometimes you got to pay to play, and the Cardinals need to pay.
Well, I think that Tom alluded to that a little bit, the fact that the Cardinals have plenty of money and they have the capability of going out and do that. The question is, will they do that? But he seemed to be leaning towards perhaps the need to do that. Now, whether or not that's in the plan or not, I don't know. He keeps his ear pretty close to the turf there as to what's going on.
Well, that you can see right now they need some kind of a major backup at least for their outfield. If these 2 guys had went down, the Cardinals was going to be pretty short-handed out there. First thing you know, you got Randall Gerchik, then you got Tommy Pham, and the other new guy that won the
Dexter Fowler.
But if Fowler and Piscotty had both went out for quite a while, then you got 2 minor leaguers basically playing in your outfield.
Yeah, Jose Martinez, right.
So, you can't be so thin, and their relief pitching, I think they still
it's the middle relief that bothers me.
Yeah, the middle relief.
I think between Rosenthal and they can get it done.
I really think Rosenthal's going to have that closing job before the year's over.
He might. They may flip-flop, and may become the 8th inning guy, and Rosenthal may be back in the 9th. We'll see. But I think between those two, they can close out the games as long as they have the lead. But, boy, how many times have we blown it already in this young season in those middle innings?
Oh, yeah.
Sechrist and Cecil and some of those guys in the middle innings. Broxton scares me to death.
Oh, I can't believe the Cardinals haven't released. The only reason they haven't is because they ain't got anybody available to take his spot.
Yeah.
I think if Gant was available from down in the minor leagues, I think Broxton would have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah. I think so. And once Gant is off the disabled list, we'll see what happens. He may be brought up by the Cardinals. I think he will be. And I think he'll be figuring in that middle relief picture someplace.
I think he's going to be that guy that, like when Wainwright had to leave the other night after 5 innings, I think he's that guy that gets you that 6th, 7th.
Chew up some innings.
And then get you to them 8th and 9th inning guys.
Yeah, chew up some innings. All right, well, again, we appreciate KMOX Sports Director Tom Ackerman being with us this morning. We have a couple more guests still lined up for the show. Coming up next, we're going to visit with Scott Burzynski. He is the new head basketball coach of the Johnston City Indians. We'll talk to him about that coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Amy's Sweet Gallery in downtown Fairfield serves top-of-the-line cookies, cupcakes, cakes, rolls, and more delicious home-baked goodies for your family, church, business, wedding, holidays, birthdays, you name it. Amy's Sweet Gallery uses third-generation secret family recipes with a hint of love in every bite. Amy's Sweet Gallery is located at 108 East Main in Fairfield, and their phone number is 842-3754, and their website is amysweetgallery.com. A scoop, a pinch, a dash, and a drop. Homemade goodness with just one stop. Amy's Sweet Gallery in Fairfield.
Accidents happen. It's part of life. But when an accident occurs with your car or truck, you can count on the professionals at Sesser Auto Body in Sesser. Whether you have a collision with a deer, a building, a parking post, or another vehicle, Sesser Auto Body in Sesser can restore your car or truck to look like nothing ever happened. That's why many people in Southern Illinois refer to Sesser Auto Body as the Collision Pros. We appreciate the underwriting support of Sesser Auto Body in Sesser.
105.5 and 90.9 The Vine is thankful for the ministry partnership with Country Bob's All-Purpose Sauce in Centralia. Country Bob's product line includes the original all-purpose sauce, seasoning salt, barbecue sauce, spicy all-purpose sauce, honey habanero, apple chipotle, and marinara. Country Bob's is located on U.S. Highway 51 south of Centralia and can be reached by calling 800-373-2140.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites, live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson live in studio along with Danny Anselment. A coaching change down at Johnston City High School. The new boys head basketball coach of the Indians is somebody that's familiar with a lot of you out there, and it's Scott Burzynski. Scott, of course, was head coach at Carterville for a number of years, had quite a great tenure of seasons there, and he's going to be leading the Indians into next season. He joins us on the phone right now. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
Great. Good to have you on the Sports Couch. First of all, let's say congratulations on the new gig there at Johnston City. I'm sure you got to be excited.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed emotion, but yeah, it's very it's very exciting to get back into teaching the game and being around basketball and being around kids. It's just a nice addition. Just trying to meet some of the kids, going over to the school and meet with the AD and the principal and the administration. So it's been kind of a quick deal here, but it's been very satisfying.
Well, it seems like anybody we've ever talked to in coaching, after they've got into it for quite a while, and then all of a sudden they're not in it. If they have a year or two where they're not coaching it, just they're just chomping at the bit. They got that appetite whetted. They want to get back at it, and it sounds like that's the way it is with you. You feel like you still have a lot more to do, a lot more to give. You enjoy it, and you just want to get back out there.
Yeah, it was one of those things that that feeling never really left. Friday and Saturday nights not being involved with stuff, and it was kind of a situation where I got to spend a lot more time with my family and my kids, and there's been a lot of great things come out of this. So I'm getting the opportunity to get back in it. It's very grateful and happy, and we're here to get going.
Well, Scott, one thing about it, you got some good young talent coming up there at Johnston City, and you have to be excited when you look at that group of kids you got coming in and think that there could be some great things for you in that Black Diamond.
Yeah, we hope so. I know that the sophomore class, going through junior classes, is pretty talented, and I know last year they graduated 4 or 5 seniors that played a lot, had a lot of good success. But we'll start from. We're not going to start from scratch, but we're going to start with some basics and just see where we kind of are as a team and talent level, and then we're going to take it from there. But it's a process. It's going to be it's not going to happen day one. So I think people understand that, and I understand that, and we're just going to see how it goes.
Well, when you come back to the Black Diamond Conference, you'd been with Carterville in that river to river, and you come back to the Black Diamond Conference, and night in, night out, that conference is pretty balanced. So, going in, you have to feel that you have a chance to compete night in and night out.
Yeah, it's, growing up, obviously, playing at Stutchville area and being in the Black Diamond, and then coaching Alvarado right after I was done at Southern, and then being involved at Carterville for all those years. I've been in the Black Diamond of the majority of my obviously playing and coaching career, and it was nice to be back in the conference, and one that I'm really accustomed to. And but yeah, river to river, night in and night out, it was very competitive. And one thing I do like with the Johnston City schedule, there are 3 or 4 river to river games on there, and a Jonesboro. Kind of think a couple right offhand. So we make that switch a little bit. We play in the river, and that's obviously just going to help kids.
Well, looking back at your history there at Carterville, what a run you had there. 17 seasons with the Carterville Lions. I think you had a winning record, 11 of those 17 seasons, and overall you were 291 and 235. And, of course, those last 2 seasons were really tremendous seasons there at Carterville, winning that sectional there in 2015. And so, obviously you've had a lot of success, and I'm sure that's one of the things that Johnston City looked at when they were looking at you and interviewing you, was trying to find somebody who has a recipe for being a winner.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, I think people think that coaching has to make it very complex, very complicated, and basketball the same. And those last few years, just try to really keep it simple and not get crazy with a lot of different things. You try to do stuff that your kids can do well, and you really practice that, and you continue to do that, and hopefully, like some of those years at Carterville, we had some success, and hopefully that's going to continue at Johnston City.
Well, Scott, that's one thing I'm glad that you hit on right there. Every good coach is able to adjust to his talent level, and you have to figure out what your kids can do and what they can do well. And not every group can do the same kind of things. And if you can't adjust, you really have some hills and valleys in wins and losses. But when the coach and the players are able to adjust, the kids will adjust to what your expectations are, but you also have to expect to adjust to their talent level. And I thought that was a very good point you made there.
Yeah, and this will be, an important summer, the month of June and a little bit in July with what we do, and not so much playing a lot of games, because it's not really kind of what we need right now. We just try to get in the gym and try to put a baseline down and a foundation of what we're going to try to do and how we're going to try to play, and to see how it works out. So, once that gets going and try to get a handle on that, we can make adjustments here and there. And you got to be willing to adjust and to continue to try to improve. And, that's one thing we're going to do. And my JV coach, Johnston, did the school right now, so that's a plus. And I'll be meeting with him, and we'll be getting things sorted out.
Well, I think you're going to be a great addition to the Black Diamond. I cover a lot of Black Diamond basketball on foxesfans.net, and I look forward to being able to see your Johnston Indians competing in this Black Diamond season coming up. Edwards County joined last year, and they've been a great addition to the Black Diamond East, and should be a pretty intense season in Black Diamond basketball.
Yeah, I think top to bottom, obviously looking at the conference, the last, few years, obviously I really concentrated on the River, but yeah, the Black Diamond. I have a nephew that's a senior that plays at Cecil, so that's going to, we played that one this couple of seasons. That'll be an interesting game. But yeah, on the, on our side with Edwards County and Fairfield, Carmine, El Dorado, Plainsboro, it's obviously you're going to have to be ready to play and be prepared to play. There's really good coaches over there, and there's some success. So, I'm really looking forward to that. It's really grateful and really thankful to be back involved and getting up.
Have you had a chance to meet with any of the boys there yet at Johnston City, or get to talk to them at all?
Yeah, I've actually not personally, but I've been to the school, been in the hallways. I've really had some meetings with the AD and met with their administration and a couple of the board members in the interview session. But it's next week we'll get a meeting. We've got a meeting set up, and we'll really start kind of hammering some things out as far as that. But we actually, my son and I, here a while ago, we're folding camps, little future Indian camp brochures. So I think that's one of the most important things I think can get going, is make sure you get the little guys involved and try to get that excitement built up in the second, third grade, fourth grade level. And so that's what we're working on right now. try to get that going this summer also too.
Well, that's great, and you're absolutely right. You've got to start building a program from the ground floor up, and with that youth program, because that's your feeders schools, and that's so important because that's your lifeline.
Yeah, it's and Coach Ampleman, who was there the last I think 3 or 4 years, he did a tremendous job, and he's one of my really good buddies. And before I took the job, I talked to him and just really wanted to make sure that where I was coming from, and just wanted to be up front. And he was very supportive, and so that was a big thing. And so that was one thing he had kind of started with the little guys, and we're obviously going to continue that, and hopefully it will grow year in, year out.
Well, obviously a good football program there at Johnston City, too. A lot of winning going on there with Coach Mings, and we know him very well, of course, from both football and track and field. And I think you guys will click and have a great relationship of working together as well, and sharing a lot of the same athletes.
Yeah, I think, anytime, obviously Coach Mings does a very good job, and he's been doing it for a lot of years. So obviously that's success. You definitely have to respect that, and it will be one. I'll stop by a few practices and I'll just watch and see how things. How Coach Mings runs a practice. I think you can learn. It doesn't have to be a basketball. It doesn't have to be. You can learn from a lot of coaches from a lot of different sports, and that's one thing. We'll sit down obviously and look at a schedule, and I think there's the majority of the athletes that probably play basketball are going to be playing football, and I'm just a big believer that if your football season goes well, it seems like that it carries over to basketball if you've got a lot of players that are playing both, and I was really accustomed to that at Carterville with the years of football success that they've had, and so that would be nothing new as far as dealing with that. I think it's a positive thing, and I'm not one to, if you have to miss a practice or two because of the football playoffs, I just think overall that's going to help you in general in basketball and even in your school year. So, I've been accustomed to that, and obviously, Coach Mings, we want him to make a deep run as he can, and then we'll take over from there.
Yeah. Well, it may be too early to answer this question, but do you think about, or have you thought about any kind of changes or anything as far as the schedule outside of the Black Diamond Conference for your Indians basketball program, or any changes in tournaments or anything like that, or that'll be something you'll kind of be going over with your athletic director?
Yeah, that's something that we'll set down. I think the schedule for especially this season, and I think next, is pretty much contracted in with the Thanksgiving tournament. We open up at Goreville, and the holiday tournament there at Central Valier. And then the midwinter, last year they went 5-0 in the Egyptian Invitational tournament. So I know we'll be in those three tournaments. Non-conference games, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I've Wayne City. I know we played ZR. We play a couple on the other side. We play SV, kind of crossover games. So, but as far as River to River, I know offhand, I think we have Anna Jonesboro. We have Benton. Just trying to think any other different ones. But I obviously overall, I think the schedule is fair. I think it's very competitive, and it'd be very interesting.
Well, it'll definitely be nice for you to go back to Cesar to compete in that Christmas holiday tournament. It's always nice to go home, and it'll be a nice atmosphere for you to be up there around a lot of family and friends and a lot of people and for your team, that looks like a good fit for me. There's a lot of good competitive basketball goes on up there, and that looks like a real good place for your Johnston City Indians.
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's one of the best run tournaments in Southern Illinois, and it's getting up there in years too. Now it's been around a while, and Chip Basso, who's the AD, and their administration does a tremendous job running the tournament, and I think a lot of people, when they go up there, especially players and coaches and families, they really look forward to the hospitality room. That's one thing that people talk about a lot. So, but they do a tremendous job, and we're just glad to be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing Randy always looks at when we talk about where we're going to go do games. he says, well, this place here has really got a great hospitality room. I think a couple games there could be intact for us, definitely.
Yeah, there's some truth to that, and they do a good job there, Scott.
They do. You're right. And it's food drives a lot of stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it does. Well, hey, thanks so much for joining us this morning on the Sports Couch. Again, congratulations on the new position there at Johnston City. We're excited to see what you're going to do there with the Indians basketball program, and we look forward to talking to you down the line, okay?
Hey,
all right.
Before I let you go, one thing I want you to work on, get us some internet hookup in that gym so we can broadcast basketball games out of there.
Oh, it's the gym. Okay. I'll look into that.
Yeah, get us a hookup in there so we can broadcast ball games out of that place.
Okay.
All righty.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Scott. Have a great weekend. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks,
bye-bye.
guys. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Bye-bye. That is Scott Burzynski. He is the new boys head basketball coach. Yeah, you've got to pretty much use wireless in that gym.
Yeah, and it doesn't work good.
No, unfortunately, it's just a tough situation. They do need to get a hard-wired connection in that gym, or a very good wireless that's tied into their school system there.
Anyway, when you got a new guy, that's always the time you got to strike while the iron's hot.
Well, and it's interesting because they've got it at the football field. They built that new football complex and football booth, and I've done games there at the football field, and you've got internet connectivity there, so they need to do it in the gym as well.
Yeah, right.
So you planted the seed there, Danny.
We'll see how things go.
All right, good job. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk to good friend Phil Leib, head boys basketball coach and track and field coach at Flora. We'll find out what's going on with Wolves track coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
105.5 and 90.9 The Vine thanks Wibbles Repair and Sales in McLeansboro for their monthly underwriting support of local Christian radio. They repair small engines and ag equipment, and they sell small engine parts, including oil filters and belts. They have agriculture aftermarket parts, interstate batteries, big truck parts, and truck lighting. As Steel and Husqvarna dealers, they offer a wide variety of chainsaws, trimmers, and cut-off saws. Wibbles Repair and Sales in McLeansboro. Their phone number, 618-648-2227. Open Monday through Friday, Saturdays till noon.
Music and ministry on the Vine is provided by Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency in Mount Vernon. Tony Wilt State Farm Insurance Agency specializes in providing your life, health, auto, and home insurance, as well as complete financial services. They are located at 4121 South Water Tower Place in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-1421, and their website is tonywilt.com. We are grateful for their underwriting support.
Looking for window tinting? Look no further than Little Details in Albion. Owner Riker Moore started tinting in 1989 and started Little Details at the end of 1998. Little Details has been doing nothing but tinting for over 18 years. Need to reduce heat, glare, fading, or increase safety, security, or privacy? Little Details can take care of you. Serving the Vine listening area and more with automotive locations in Wayne City, Mount Vernon, Fairfield, Flora, Olney, Centralia, Harrisburg, and Albion. Find them on Facebook. Their phone number 618-231-0230.
And welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. Danny, we normally talk basketball with Phil Leib of the Flora Wolves, but he's also coaching track and field.
Well, I really learned something here this morning, Randy.
What's that?
I'm a little bit surprised by this. This is a fact I didn't know. Now I can imagine Phil Leib being out on the basketball court, showing guys how to screen out and box out and make a pass and things like that. But I just have never envisioned Phil Leib out showing some high school student how to run the hurdles.
Well, let's ask him about that. Coach Leib joins us right now. Good morning, Phil.
Hey, good morning.
So how about that? What's that like?
Answer that question. That's why we have YouTube videos.
Oh, okay. There you go. Good answer.
No, in all seriousness, I've coached track now for 25 years, and it's been an honor and a privilege. And I just got to be honest with the people out there, it's a lot less stressful.
Oh, yeah.
With basketball, so. I mean, you don't have people questioning us. So I wonder why my kid's not in the relay. Well,
yeah.
Because can he beat any of those four? Well, no. Okay, there you go.
Pretty cut and dried, isn't it? Yeah, pretty cut and dried. I like that. Plus, it's a shorter season, too. It's real short.
It is. It is a shorter season, and you get to well, not much this year, but you just get to enjoy outside and be a part of God's creation, and it's just pretty cool.
Well, I guess with all the rain we've had, you've decided to add the steeplechase to one of the events this year, right?
I think we should have put that in there. It's been amazing, but I know we're not alone in that. I know everybody's been battling that issue. So.
Yeah. Well, how many guys would you say off your basketball team run track and field for you there at Flora?
I'll tell you what, if I had to guess the number off the top of my head, 2.
Really? It's a totally different group because you got baseball at the same time, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
We share a lot of athletes, and unfortunately with baseball, I mean, it sounds great. Hey, I'd like to do track at the same time, and we also have tennis going on.
Yeah.
But in reality, I mean, baseball, and once their training's done, they try to play about every single game every day. So therefore, that limits us a lot when we can use them in track meets. So it's just, like I said, it sounds good on paper, but in reality, it doesn't end up working that way. So yeah, we share a lot of athletes with tennis and baseball, but normally we get about 2 or 3 guys from basketball, and we use them for jumping purposes and some running. But we get a lot of football players who are, just trying to stay in shape, trying to get conditioned for football.
So you really get to work with a whole new, different group of athletes then.
Tell you what, it is a whole different creation, whole different mindset from basketball to track. I mean, we don't wear the sports coats or blazers or ties. I allow hair to grow a little bit more, and they even have some whiskers, but. I've learned you got to be creative because, to be honest, it's just hard to get kids out for track anymore. So I think you got to keep it fun, you got to keep it energized. I mean, you got to work around their schedule sometimes and allow some flexibility. But at the same time, it's kind of an individual sport. I mean, it is a team concept as far as a team sport, as far as the points, but it's up to that individual as far as how much you want to improve, how much you want to get better. And the only race you're really competing against is that stopwatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, does your brother Greg coach track and field over at Belleville Altough?
That'd be a definitely no. What they do, people may not understand. I love basketball, and that was my passion. And I love coaching basketball, and I love coaching track as well. But I was really pretty blessed. God gave me with a great set of lungs and a good pair of legs as far as being able to run. I could run the mile, the 40 mile, the half mile. I mean, I was pretty blessed in that area. So then I felt, my first job up at Henry Snatchline grade school, junior high, I said, well, who's the track coach? I said, well, since you asked, you are. So, and I didn't learn from that mistake because when I got the job at Flora, I said, hey, well, who's the track coach? Well, since you asked, you are. So,
man, I thought you caught on faster than that.
I think I did, but I guess I don't.
That's a great story. Well, how's the track team doing this year so far at Flora?
We got some kids that we got one sprinter. I think it's really pretty good. His name is Brandon Burkett. He runs about 11.2, 11.3, 100. Good, strong kid, senior. Really good out of the blocks and has great acceleration there through the end of it. But he's, I think he has got a good chance to get to a state. We got him, and we struggle with our relays because we just don't. It seems like we're just 1 or 2 guys, quick guys away from really making an impact. But they compete very well. We got a decent jumper. Ethan did a great job for me. Ian did a great job for me. And my youngest son Owen is pole vaulting, high jumping, long jumping, triple jumping. He'll do the hurdles as well, so he's pretty versatile. Then we got some mid-distance guys that are competing well, that they just not quite getting over that hump. Their hump is about 220, 215 range, and they need to understand that in that 800, it needs to be about 205 to 210, and we just can't quite get there. But overall, we got about 20 kids out. They've been there each and every day, competing, practicing when we can, and a lot of times we share gym space with other sports that are going on, so it's just sometimes track ends up running in the hallways, which that's what we got and that's what we'll do. So.
Mm-hmm. Have you had some meets that have been rained out this year, I assume?
Yeah, we've had some postponements, some cancellations. And, Coach McNeely, our AD, I love him to death. He's awesome. He does a great job for us. But I remember his first year as AD with track. He goes, well, we want to make this up. I said, Bobby, one thing you understand about track, you don't make up track meets. You just move and you cancel it, postpone it, and you move on. Unless it's a big invite, unless it's a big conference meet, but just a regular season meet, because once you get in the latter part of the season, you want to be really strategic in where you're running and how you're running your meets, because you want to be peaking at the right time, and you don't want to have tired legs going into conference meet or into sectionals. So that's something that's, think about track and different than basketball. You don't make those things up. You just continue to work out and move on.
Well, track season, like you said, is kind of a short season, and, you're on your final push here. School's about to wrap up for another year, and so is a lot of sports.
It is, and we have our graduation Sunday, so I've had years where after graduation, I don't ever see those seniors again. So you say I have a hard time learning sometimes, and I really do, because it took me about 5 years to figure out. Man, I'm having a hard time getting these uniforms collected, especially in track season, because I don't get to see them now. So this is what we do now. I bring me a 30-gallon trash bag, and at the end of the sectional meet, I said, all right, boys, I hope you got to change your clothes, because I'm taking those uniforms right now off this bag. And it works a lot better that way.
I can see this. Phil Leib's the only coach in school history that sends these boys home in their shorty shorts.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What happened to your track suit? The coach took them from us.
That's really something. Oh, wow. So tell us how postseason works for you. Where do you go for that, and who's hosting that? Okay.
Our sectional meet is at we're 1A. We go to Altamont, which is kind of different. They haven't hosted really a meet as far as a big meet like that, so that's where we're going. For Altamont, we're going to see teams like T-Town and Newton and Robinson. I mean, when you hear track, you think of T-Town. I mean, you think of Newton and Robinson, and they're just legit. But Altamont's got some good runners. LCC, Vandalia, Pena, they'll feed in there. Some other schools. So it's just Flora's just right on that borderline. We can either go south or we go north. And the last few years they've chosen to send us north, and that's been fine. Seems like wherever we go, they're better at that place. So for years we used to go south, and that's when Harrisburg was really good. So we got to see some great athletes there. But we've had our success in the past few years. But like you said, a lot of it hinges on the athletes you have. It is such a short season. We don't have cross country, and probably one of the disadvantages that we have that other programs don't have. I don't think I might be the only one that coaches basketball that also coaches track. And so therefore we really don't have a strong preseason conditioning program. Let's be honest, I'm more concerned about how we're peaking, how we're playing in regionals than I am, I wonder what our 4x8 team is going to look like this year. So
yeah.
And that's just the way it is, and they understand that, and they're fine with that. But yeah, that's where we go. We I think in a couple of weeks, not next week, but the following Thursday, we go to Altamont for our sectionals. And then, obviously, the top two advance to state, or if you make the qualifying time or qualifying distance in field events, you advance to state. And I think we got one kid that has a chance, and hopefully he gets that opportunity to do so.
Well, we certainly hope so. I did not realize that Flora didn't have cross-country anymore.
No, it's I think that was done in 1982, 83, if I believe. Yeah.
Really? So after Dave Delaney stopped doing it, was that when they stopped or what?
Yep. I remember my freshman year when we moved to Flora. I ran cross country, and you can love it as well as you can when you're running. I mean, one thing I love about running is when you're done. So, but we did what we did, and the next year they dropped it. Just couldn't find a coach and lack of interest, so I picked it up as an individual sport. And but you know how that goes. It's just I just didn't have the self-discipline as a sophomore to really train.
Right.
Then the following year, I ended up playing football, junior and senior year. So, and that's the last I've heard of cross country there at Flora. I know that other schools around us have it, but we've never have.
I did not realize that, because when I was in school in Flora, of course I'm dating myself, we either had to play football or run cross country, and I did run cross country so we could play basketball. That was just part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How about that?
You're a couple old guys, ain't you?
Yeah, we are old guys, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I hope that you can get a couple guys to break through there at the sectional and move on there to the next level at postseason track. That's always a nice goal to shoot for. But
It is.
But again, above and beyond the winning and the losing is the fact that you get to work with these young men and you get to be an example for them in many other ways and teach them skills that they'll carry on for life too, particularly the way that they handle themselves and their attitude and that sort of thing.
That's totally correct. I mean, because they'll figure out real soon in life. It's about 10 to 15% of your athleticism and your ability. It's that other 85 to 90% is your attitude, how you handle things. When you get discouraged, are you going to stay down there? Are you going to get back up? Are you going to keep competing? And that's what we do each and every day. And some days are better than others. Some meets are better than others. Sometimes you make your time, sometimes you don't. But the important thing is you keep working, whether it's with your marriage, whether it's with your children, whether it's with your relationship with Christ. It's what you do as a human. It's what we're called to do, is to keep after it and keep getting better. Because someone once told me, you're either growing or you're dying. It's one of those two things.
That's good. Very, very well said.
That's a good thing. That's a good point.
Good
right
quote.
there.
Sure is. Phil, thanks so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And let's enjoy some sunshine now for a change, okay?
Yes, let's do that. And thanks so much for having me on there. Enjoy
You bet.
doing it.
All right, have a great weekend. All righty. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
It's Phil Leib, the head basketball coach and track and field coach at Flora. And, man, oh, man, he just does a great job with the student-athletes up there. And, that's interesting, the fact that he's only got 2 guys on track and field that he had in basketball. So it's a whole, another group of young men that he's working with. But, boy, he does a great job with the young men at Flora.
Well, he's just one of those great influential people that you're fortunate enough to have in your school system. And I'm sure it's really an enjoyment for him because it is, like you said, a complete different group of kids. Not a lot of stress with that. I could see how he could really enjoy that.
Yeah, I can too. And I learned something.
I bet he would be fun.
Oh, I'm sure he would be fun to play for. Yeah, I think he would be. But I learned something this morning. I did not realize Flora did not have cross country. And he said they haven't had it since 1982.
Yeah.
I can't believe
well,
that.
Well, you can't keep up very good, do
No,
you?
I can't believe I didn't know that. That's odd.
For an alumni there, I would have thought you would have an idea.
And Dave Delaney, the legendary cross-country coach, is still up there. He still lives there and stuff. I'll have to talk to Dave about that sometime. Like, hey, why don't you get out there with your cane and walker and teach cross-country? Come on now.
He might tell you, why don't you do that in your spare time? You ran.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Yeah, cross-country was not my favorite sport, I'll tell you that.
No.
It was strictly conditioning for basketball. That's all it was. Oh, my goodness. Hey, we're out of time, and Danny, this is actually going to be the final show of this high school sports season. You heard Coach Phil Leib say they have graduation next week at Flora, so it's the end of the line here.
Hamilton County is 13th.
Yeah, so it's the end of the line
next weekend is going to wrap things up.
So, the way we do the Sports Couch is we're here every Saturday morning outside of holidays during the high school sports season, but we are winding down the high school sports season, so that means we wind down the show for another school year, unless we see that somebody breaks through and we have a team that goes and makes a deep run at state or something in baseball, softball, something like that. We may come back and do an encore show or something so we can talk to some of those coaches. But unless that happens, this will be the last one for this high school sports season, and it's gone by fast.
Yeah, another year's clicked by here pretty quick, Randy. We've got to witness a lot of great basketball games throughout the winter season. We visited with a lot of great people. Want to thank every one of those for all their time and effort. These guys have a Monday through Friday job that never stops on Friday. People are always calling them, wanting some of their time, and they've been gracious enough. Not one time have we ever been turned away by someone saying, no, I just don't want to be on there, or I don't want to be part of it. They're always thrilled with the opportunity to get on and talk about their kids and be happy and appreciative of their teams and their efforts.
Even after they lost.
Yeah. Even after a tough loss. You got to really give those guys credit to come on here and find positive things to say. Not one time have we ever had a coach come on and belittle kids after a tough loss. They have always found something good to say about what happened. They were disappointed. You could tell they were disappointed. You knew they were disappointed. But that is the type of classy people that we deal with in this high school sports deal. And want to thank all the hospitality from all the gyms, the people that's worked with us to get what we need.
Athletic directors, yeah.
You know, there's so much stuff goes on behind the scene that people don't realize what it takes to do this job. And I want to thank everybody that has worked with me through the year.
Absolutely. And again, we are very appreciative of that. And it's been a fast year, and we look forward to next school year and next school sports season and to see what it brings. We're going to see some changes, of course, in coaching in some of the areas. You got the new coach we interviewed this morning, Scott Burzynski, who's going to be at Johnston City, and again, you got the coaching change down at Marion with Gus Gillespie, and there's liable to be some other changes here that take place in the off season. So
Jeff Rush is going to be the new football coach at Hamilton County. So you're going to have it'll start up again in the fall, and it'll be another year of high school sports. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here with you on Saturday mornings, and thank you for all you do also, Randy.
It's always been fun, always a pleasure. And, again, we thank everybody for listening and watching. And, again, thanks to all the sponsors that make it possible as well. So that's going to wrap up the Sports Couch for this high school sports season. And we'll talk to you again next fall, all right? Have a good weekend, and let's enjoy some sunshine, everyone, all right? So long.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music.